The Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out in just a couple of months. Like, this console is right around the corner. So that begs the question, what is the first Pokemon game exclusive to the Switch 2 going to be? Legends Z is going to be on the Switch 1 as well as the Switch 2. And the only real difference is that the Switch 2 version is just going to run better. It's going to be 4K, 60 FPS. I'm sure it'll just run better and some of the graphics will probably look a little bit better, but overall it's going to be pretty much the same. And so Legends Z is not an exclusive game to the Switch 2, like I said, just because it's on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. So that means the next Pokemon game is probably only going to be a Switch 2 exclusive game, which I'm assuming it's most likely going to be Generation 10. I really do think Gen 10 is coming out next year for 2026. Typically, Nintendo Game Freak, they release a brand new generation about every 3 years, but this time around, it's a little bit different. So this will be actually a 4-year gap in between brand new generations from Gen 9 to Gen 10. Now, they could throw us an absolute curveball and give us a new game, like there could be maybe a Black and White remake, which I think would be really cool, or even another remake. Like, we're going to talk about some of these remakes that could happen next for the Switch 2 as the first official exclusive Pokemon game for the Switch 2. And we've been getting a ton of Generation 10 leaks and rumors recently. Like, we just had the newest rumor or leak about the Pokédex, which obviously doesn't directly tell us what the Pokédex is, but it's just kind of like a tease or a hint at what it could possibly be. And before we get to the rest of the video, this video is sponsored by TomTalk. Now, they make the best Nintendo Switch 2 cases. Now, these carrying cases are actually amazing. You know, the Switch 2 is coming out. It's going to be a brand new console. It is pretty expensive, so you're going to want to protect it. Now, they were kind enough to send me 2 of their brand new cases right here. We got a black and a white one, which just look phenomenal. I have to say that the build quality is perfect. It is literally perfection. I absolutely love the design of it. It's simple, but yet really cool. It's very original, and it has that embellished kind of look of the Switch on the outside. In my opinion, this is the must-have case for the Switch 2. Not only that, on the inside, you have a little name tag in case you ever leave your Switch somewhere, so you can write your name and your contact information, which is the coolest feature I've ever seen. You can store a lot of Switch games up in this case, and it is very soft on the inside, so it's going to protect your brand new Switch 2 console. The fabric is very nice. Like, your Switch games are going to be very protected. You can see that it's a very slim case, which I really like. Like, it is very slim, but it's also very sturdy. The outer shell is very sturdy, and if you drop this in the case, your Switch is going to be protected for sure. I think this is the must-have Switch 2 case. Huge shout out to TomTalk. Link to them in the description. Go buy yourself a brand new Switch 2 protective case for your brand new console. Now, this is probably the smartest thing you could do for a brand new console. All right, back to the rest of the video. And as far as remakes go, it would be amazing to get a game like this. This footage that I'm showing you right here is a fan-made game. It's called Gamma Emerald. I don't think it's out yet, but this person literally has made a dream remake. Like, this is exactly what I think Pokemon remakes should look like on the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is obviously going to be so much more capable of bigger and better games. And now we're going to talk about some of that in the open world sense. Now, obviously this is not an open world game. This is like a remake. So a remake shouldn't have, all the open world stuff. Unless the original game was an open world game, then sure, that makes sense. But for the black and white remakes, I want something that looks just like this. This would be the most amazing thing ever. So once again, this is called Gamma Emerald. If you want to go check it out, just look it up online. There's so many videos out there of what the game is going to look like, and I can't wait because this thing looks insane. Now, black and white remakes are definitely happening. They're not canceled. There have been a lot of people out there thinking that black and white remakes are canceled or they're done with remakes for whatever reason. I don't know where that rumor has started because that just doesn't make any sense. We are still getting remakes. Every single Pokemon game is still eventually going to get a remake. Pokemon Legends Z is based in the Kalos region, which is Generation 6, but this game's not a remake. Legends Z is its own standalone game. It's not a remake of Pokemon X and Y. I've seen this comment countless times where people think that they skipped the Generation 5 remakes to make X and Y remakes, but Legends Z is not an X and Y remake. It's a brand new standalone game. So when we do get to the X and Y remakes, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they do for those remakes, and it's possible for that to be on the Switch too, but I don't know, because remakes are, few and far in between. Usually it's one per console we get a remake, so the X and Y remakes are probably going to be on the next Nintendo console. And now I do think black and white remakes are going to be on the Switch too. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the next Pokemon game. I kind of think Generation 10 is going to be the next game, and then we're going to get black and white remakes after that. But I hope black and white remakes look like this. This is the type of, highly animated, the top-down style with kind of, the sprite animations, but you know, keeping it modern. Like, it's a modern touch, but keeping it with the OG style. And since X and Y are the first 3D Pokemon video games ever made, I mean, Black and White had elements of 3D, but overall it wasn't, you know, like 3D. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do for those remakes, because it wouldn't really make sense for X and Y remakes to look like the Gamma Emerald gameplay right here that I'm showing you guys. But with Generation 10, like I said, the Switch 2 is going to be a bigger and better console compared to the Switch. That's why I think it's going to be a really big and impressive game. If you haven't been following the channel already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss these brand new leaks and updates that I'm trying to push out daily for you guys. It really goes such a long way. I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you guys for supporting the channel, by the way. But anyways, there are leaks and rumors of Generation 10 out there right now, and I've been reporting most of them, if not all of them, just like all of the bigger ones. There are so many like random leaks that you may see that are totally random user posts, which typically aren't real, but I try to go with, you know, kind of the more reputable sources in comparison to like just the random things you see on the internet. Early on in the Terra leak, which was a massive Game Freak internal leak that happened, it suggested or told us that Generation 10 is planned to have some sort of like floating island. Now, we already know that this game is going to be taking place in the Cyclades, which is in Greece, from the leaks. You know, that's what the leaks were suggesting. Of course, Generation 10 is not officially announced yet. And also, I have to say this because I have had this comment countless times in the last like week, and I am talking about Generation 10. People are thinking I'm talking about Legend ZA. Like, a lot of people think that Legend ZA is Generation 10 of Pokemon. Legend ZA is not Generation 10. Legend ZA is taking place in the Kalos region, which is from Generation 6. It's a Legends game, you know, we're kind of going back to a different region, different generation from Gen 6. Generation 10 is its own unique game that's going to be called something. Right now, the biggest like fan name out there is Wind and Wave, which I think is a really good name, but they're not going to use that name because it is a fan-made name, so they kind of can't use it, or they just won't. But yeah, Legend ZA is its own game. It's not Gen 10. I know there are people wondering, and I've had this comment a lot in the last like week or two, so just figured I'd bring it up now. But I mean, we're getting some bigger games on the Switch too. Like, we're gonna get the new Borderlands game on the Switch too, which is crazy. Some big games gonna be released on the Switch too. So I'm really hoping that this means that the future Pokemon games, like the standalone brand new generations or brand new titles, aside from the, you know, the remakes, are going to be some big open world games. Like, it's not crazy to think that we can get a big open world Pokemon game. Like, imagine a game as big as the Hogwarts Harry Potter game that came out a couple years ago. Like, that's a pretty big map, pretty spacious, pretty detailed, something like that, but with Pokemon, or like other big open world games that you can think about. Leave a comment down below of some big open world games that you've played that you'd like to see Pokemon take some inspiration from, let's just say. I just don't think that they're going to let Generation 10 flop, and I think it's going to be a big game. And like I said earlier, it's probably going to be the next official, you know, Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon game, just because Legend ZA is not an exclusive Switch 2 Pokemon game. It's gonna be a dual release. Generation 10 probably won't fit on the Switch 1. Like, if they want to make Generation 10 like phenomenal and extremely good or fantastic, they're probably not going to put it on the Switch 1 because they'd really have to turn the dial way down to make it fit on the Switch 1. Although they could have a Switch 1 version and have it like extremely toned down, but that just wouldn't be cool. Like, I don't think that would be the right move. I think the right move is probably to make it a Switch 2 version, as hard as that sounds. And the thing is, it's like by the time Pokemon Generation 10 is officially released, which is going to be probably the end of next year, if you're not going to get a Switch 2 now, a lot of people are going to be having one by then. Like, a lot of people will have a Switch 2 by then, as well as Christmas is literally going to be a couple months later, so a lot of people will be getting a Switch 2 for this Christmas and next Christmas. So a lot of people are still going to be able to play the game, right? And the thing is, if you don't get one by then either, it's like Generation 10 is not going anywhere. You could always still pick it up in the future. So I know it would be a little bit unfortunate for some people that aren't going to get the Switch 2 or don't want it or just can't afford it because it is kind of expensive. It's probably what they're going to do, unfortunately, but it's probably for the better just to make the game really good. Like I said, I know it stinks, but the Switch 1 is pretty old by now. I mean, if hardware issue, software issue, whatever. So I'm really hoping for Generation 10 to be just an extraordinary big open world game, but also not like far from the roots of Pokemon. Like, I don't want it to not be like a Pokemon game, but just because of the leak of us having like floating islands and that it's an archipelago with a bunch of different islands makes me think that this map is going to be pretty sizable. And as well as, like, you know, if we're going to be flying up in the sky and there are going to be things rendered all over the place, that makes me think that this game is going to be pretty big and just hopefully more detailed and just an exciting brand new experience. And maybe it could do what Scarlet and Violet couldn't. Like, I think Game Freak were going in the right direction with Scarlet and Violet. It just didn't pan out exactly how it should have, which is okay. Those games were still super fun. I just really am expecting more from Generation 10, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited for Generation 10? What do you think the first Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon game is gonna be? And if you are a real one watching this far in the video, comment down your favorite type of smoothie. Personally, I gotta go with just the classic strawberry banana smoothie. You can never go wrong with that. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Peace.
Someone